I don't know, I'd be shitting my pants more of getting another spray from Craig Bellamy than I would be of Trent Robinson. So if you're the Titans organisation, do you sack him before the end of the season and try and run something new in, or you just let it run its course and then get a new coach early? So,
The 13.5 Rabbitohs line, I'm a little bit tempted, to be honest.
I don't know why I'm still not sold on the Raiders to win the whole comp.
Hello and welcome back to Ahead of the Game Sports Chat with Sports Pez Jez and Tuck Sports Takes from bets.com.au, where we write game previews as primary editors on the site, Jez.
Look, wow, you're giving us a lot of cred today, mate. You're usually like, oh, what are we? Are we editors? Are we tipsters? We are the primary prediction enthusiasts of the NRL and AFL.
Well, I have to give credit where credit's due because you had a bloody good week last week. Not I, but you did. Before we get into today's ep, though, I just want to apologise if there's any problems around the production. I realise I'm a little bit delayed compared to my audio, but I'm sitting in an attic on holidays at the moment. But round 21 was calling, Jez, and I have to be here for it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the things you do, and I think we've mastered it as well as we can. But I'm glad you're here. Otherwise, I would have been doing a solo pod, and I think that wouldn't have been half as interesting as what this is going to be, even with a little bit of delay. So I'm happy you're here at least.
Well, just remember, if you say any jokes and it takes me half a second longer to start laughing, then it's not that you're not funny. It's just got to take half a second for it to get to me and then another 3 seconds for me to process it.
Don't worry, I know I'm funny. It's fine.
Last week, Jez, you went 7 of 8, and we had a bit of a head-to-head battle. I went a little bit rogue on some of my picks in the hopes that what I thought, and I think the biggest one for me was the Dragons over the Bulldogs, where it was in the balance right until the last minute or 2 minutes, and the bloody Dragons let it slip out of their hands, and that would have at least taken me 5 and 6 or 5 of 8, and you would have got 6 of 8. But I got rooted on the other ones.
Also, Titans West Tigers was also last minute.
Oh yeah, that was a 1-point game. Yeah. And what was the third one? You took Sharks, and I took Roosters.
Yeah, that's just
that was not
your
a good one.
Loyalty got you there, I think. No,
well, I'm
like
not.
We said, we talked about that game after, and it was the Roosters beat up themselves.
Yeah.
It felt like they were just not as interested. James Tedesco had his worst game of the year, or quietest game. He still scored a try, but he wasn't as active. And I think you really noticed that there with Teddy, man. He's carried the Roosters through like a long period, and a lot this year. He's been the man. So as soon as he sort of had a quiet game or got shut down, or whatever it was, they struggled.
Yeah, and they're going to probably burn us. Both of us taking, now we have round 21 up on the board here. Both of us taking the Storm to beat the Roosters, and they're probably going to come back and bounce back in a emphatic fashion. But we're not believers.
Yeah, no, not at all. I thought about taking the Roosters straight away because Melbourne weren't good either. Like they lost to Manly at home of all places.
Massive.
So yeah, like I had a quick look at that and I was like, but it's the head-to-head stats here that weigh very, very heavily that Melbourne are going to win. Like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games. Melbourne have won, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 11 of the last 12.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so that's massive. And it's been at Allianz, it's been at Amy, it's been at the SCG, it's been in Newcastle. No matter where they play, it just seems that Melbourne beat the Roosters. So it's hard to tip against that. And obviously with the Roosters being a little bit flat last week as well, you would expect, I don't know, I'd be shitting my pants more of getting another spray from Craig Bellamy than I would be of Trent Robinson. So I think the Melbourne boys are likely to get up because I can't imagine that they would have had a pleasant, was it Saturday night, and they're going to have a pleasant week this week. So you would expect that they'll get up in that first match on Thursday night. I have somewhere in my head as well that Melbourne are Thursday night experts, but I don't know. I haven't got
Well,
anything to back that up. It's just a feeling.
for
But
our viewers, once the Thursday night preview is live on bets.com.au, you'll be able to see in the cheat sheet we have the game day and game time records over the past 6 seasons in the cheat sheet. So if Jez is correct in his Thursday night predictions around the Storm, then that'll be there in the cheat sheet as well. How do you, not to spend too much time on just the first matchup, but the score line, projected score line here, 30 to 24 or right there or thereabouts, it feels quite doable because the Storm defense isn't fantastic, and both teams have been putting on points this year.
yeah, that's why I think it definitely. I think I'm writing this. Yeah, I'll be writing this game probably tomorrow. I think you're definitely looking at the over if you're having a bit of a punt because exactly like you said, well, the Roosters' attack was a little bit flat last week, but these have been the two best attacking teams in the competition. So you've got to remember the Roosters had a little bit of a reshuffle in their halves last week. So obviously 1 week with that combination and that game, I think you learn a lot and they'll sort their attack out. It's going to be a great battle watching Tupou and Coates go head to head, man, because those two guys are scoring tries. Like I think Coates scored all 3 for Melbourne, and Tupou, man, he's been hectic again. It's like he's up there as got to be the best winger. Or up there is one of the best, say, top 5 wingers in the comp, and there are a lot of good wingers at the moment, and he's still
Yeah,
absolutely killing it. So that's going to be a really cool battle,
definitely.
and heaps of points.
On to game 2, and we're both on the Cowboys to beat the Dragons. I cannot possibly back the Dragons after the heartache they caused me last weekend. But the Cowboys have a pretty solid head-to-head dominance. They've won, I think, 5 in a row against against the Dragons, and the Dragons they're doing well in attack, and like this is what scares me a little bit about this one. That we spoke about it last week, and the Cowboys' defense has been so bad, and that's exactly what lost them the game. And I'm scared the Dragons can exploit that, but I also think that the Dragons' defense is also exploitable to North Queensland, and I think at home and in this head-to-head battle, I think they match up a little bit better.
Yeah, this was a tough one. I think if we could have had if we had a little like wild card tip, I think this would be the one that I would go, all right, I'm out because I feel this one can go either way. St. George have been good. Like I'm trying to pull up their like 1-12 loss record. Like they're playing in a heap of games that are decided by 1-12. It's 5. They've had 5 wins and 5 losses, 1-12, 3 wins, 3 losses, 13 plus. But it feels like when they lose, they're losing by these really, really slim margins. And they've been in a lot of games against quality sides, but they just can't get over the line. It's been a little bit like that for the Dragons since Flano took over. Like they're close, but they're just not there. They can't get the win. They don't have the composure, the culture, that winning culture to get them over the line. But at the moment, the Cowboys don't have that either. It feels they're finding ways to just open up their defensive line, and St. George really don't have maybe the class as some of the other sides to take advantage of that. But on their day, the Saints will be in this game. It'll be close. Even the projected score is close in theory. It's 3 points. So yeah, I think this one can really go either way. But Cowboys should get on top. They have the attacking class.
They've had 8 losses by 8 points or less, and they've had 1, 2, 3, 4 losses by 2 points or less. So,
there you go.
Yeah. Good old Dragons. Do you think here the total as well is probably looking at a lot of points?
I don't know, because sometimes the Dragons can struggle to score, but I think with the Cowboys being so poor defensively at the moment, then there's an opportunity that the Dragons will be able to match the Cowboys with the try scoring. But I think the Dragons' defense on its day, it can be like really good. So I think that's why I feel really uncomfortable with this game, because I think on the day, Cowboys defense poor, Dragons attack okay, and then you've got Cowboys attack might struggle against the Dragons if they're if they've got everything together in this one. So yeah, I think it maybe is a little bit high, to be honest.
Okay. Broncos up against the Eels. It's a pretty straightforward one here. The Eels, they're done and dusted for the season. The Broncos are starting to have that kind of third of the season peak. It should be a rout here.
Yeah. But it's funny with the Eels, like over the last 2 weeks, they played Penrith the week before, and then they played the Raiders. And they've been in the game at halftime. But they just get hammered in the second half. They just don't come out at all. They put everything into that first half, and they were a chance against the Raiders, and the Raiders basically beat them in the final 10 minutes of the match. So yeah, like you can never you back 13 plus always really against the Eels now, unfortunately. But I don't know. You want to say they're getting better. They're doing a lot of reshuffling, but like you said, I think the Broncos are certainly peaking at the right time. They're getting all their players back. They're getting healthy again, and this should eventually be a whooping.
So there are a couple of stats out of this one, which you'll see in the cheat sheet as well. Broncos first in line breaks. The Eels allow the 13th most, no, 13th, would it be the fourth most amount of line breaks. They're ranked 13th. And they're 1-9 against current top 8 teams, the Eels. So not a fantastic record for them as well there. But I did see something about Jason Ryle's kind of testing a few players here in the last couple of rounds, and that is probably going to lead to some distractions, some preparation issues, and possibly guys that just aren't up to NRL quality getting game time just to be able to prove themselves, which could lead to big scores. But all over the Bronx.
Be why they're in games in the first half and not the second half, because I think if you're an opposition coach, you're working things out. They've got new combinations. You all of a sudden see in the first half, okay, they were a little bit weak there. We'll attack there in the second half. I think that's probably where it comes down to over the last few weeks, really.
If you're on any try scorer stuff here, the Eels have conceded the first try in 4 of the last 5 games. And Brisbane 3 of their last 4. So who do you go for there?
So flip a coin.
Flip a coin. Warriors taking on the Titans. The Titans wooden spooners now. The Tigers won last week.
They're the favourites. Yeah, they are the favourites. Them and the Eels, I think. It's just who can snag a win or two in the run home. So, but the Titans don't look good. Desi Hasler's screaming at the boys for having showers early before he can have his rants. So he's fighting for his job. Did you see it? There was, I think it was on the Matty John show or something. Yeah, like obviously some of the boys had gone and had a shower, and then he's like gone off his rocker screaming and kicking stuff that they had to come back in, and they've all come in and they're all in their dick togs, and he's just, I think it was like Fletch or someone saying, oh, he's just screaming because they're all showering in their undies. What's happened?
Oh God!
Yeah, he's in trouble. Dez's job's in big trouble. So
now we've both picked the Warriors.
I'll give you a question. If you're the Titans organization, do you sack him before the end of the season and try and run something new in, or you just let it run its course and then get a new coach early, sack him straight after the last round?
Yeah, I'm seeing out the season. I mean, you're going to pay his contract out anyway. You might as well get as much out of him while you're not turning the club around in the last 6 games of this season. So just pure from an economic standpoint, you're going to be paying Des anyway. Let him just run out the rest of the year. sack him after the last game, then you're probably already starting the look for a new coach in the background already. They've probably done that for the last month or two. Bring that coach in straight after the end of the season to start them preparing for next season. And who that coach is, man, I just hope it's no one. It can't be Trent Barrett, Nathan Brown,
Another lad.
Brad Arthur, Kevin Walters. There's a lot of talk saying Kevin Walters has been on the phone, like he's so far into the job that he's been ringing players and managers to talk about them being at the Titans next year. So I don't like that for them. I think they need a completely new direction, completely new breath of fresh air into that club, which none of these other coaches that have been at other clubs can provide.
Just saw an interesting stat in this one though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the last 6 games, the Titans have won this clash.
Yeah. So. But the Titans, they're a different makeup of team, and I think their confidence is lacking. Previous years, they've been all right, and they've been in the hunt for the 8 up until quite late in the season. But now, they're not. And the Warriors, they're 9-0 against bottom 9 teams. Even though their efficiency at the try line has been pretty bad this year, the Titans are just going to allow them to run all over them. They're ranked second last or third last in line breaks, in territory, in possession against their opponents. So, yeah, I don't see this ending up in any other way, unfortunately.
No, me either.
There was a try scorer one here as well. Titans have scored first in 3 of the last 4. Warriors conceded first in 3 of the last 4. So,
and you get on Halasima after that epic game-winning try. He's been scoring a lot. He's come in the second row and has been an absolute unit. I backed him a couple of weeks ago in my write-up to score, and he scored. He scores, I don't know, it's like he's scored in 3 straight games, but I think, I don't know, I want to try and bring up his stats real quickly in try scoring. Because he's scored like a lot the last few weeks here. So he scored a try in 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 5 tries in the last 6 games.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So he's had a
Why
big
hasn't that
spurt.
come up in our stats here?
Well, it said that he scored in his last 3.
Oh, so, there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 3 straight games.
But he's been on. So I think you get on him. He's become a cult hero overnight after that try. That was epic. So I think you jump on a kid with confidence and against the Titans.
Yeah. So far we're on the all on the favourites, right? Storm of the away favourites. Now the 3 are home favourites. Yeah. Another home favourite in the Penny Panthers up against the West Tigers. And this is the middle game on Saturday. What do you see? I said it last week. Panthers going to win the comp.
Yeah.
They're just a much better team than the Tigers.
Yeah, they're back on track. Penrith, they've got it all together. It doesn't matter who's playing. Once again, their defense is just phenomenal. They've found their defensive structure again, and that's what's going to win them the comp. And yeah, I think everybody should be fearing the Panthers as well, man. Yeah, 100%. Because
funny how they've just suddenly like second in run meters, first in tackles in opposition 20, third in territory, third in opposition territory, third in opposition tackles inside 20. Like they're just quietly, even though they were down the bottom of the ladder for a long time, they're ranking highly in a lot of stat groups.
Yeah. But I think they even when they were losing, they were still strong in playing that territory game, which is what they play. But they had sort of a bit weaker goal line defense, and they were getting scored on actually from their attacking half. They were getting these long range tries. Something happened with teams working out that how they were sort of bunching in and protecting the middle of the field in the first few tackles. Teams were starting to spread it and find space, and Ivan Cleary's fixed that, and now and whatever was going on goal line wise, that's also shifted. But they had a lot of early injuries. If it was second row or even like Toa was out for a bit, and I think now everything's settled again. They're a different beast. They're back. They're back to normal, and you put them in the finals, they make the eight, they can win the comp. Like, it's that simple. And now they're pushing for even a top 4 spot now. You give them an extra life in the finals. Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, here, Sharkies taking on the Rabbitohs at home. We're both on the Sharks. But a very tight matchup predicted here from our computer models.
Yeah, I was shocked when I did these graphics that it was so close. Like, I don't understand, especially with how poor the Rabbits have been, but I think the Rabbits had still been scoring points. They'd just been allowing a lot of points, but you would then presume that the Sharks, the way that they've been playing over the last few weeks, that there would have been some adjustment. But we're not the computer; it's working something out on for and against, and you never know. There's probably something that we must be missing.
Well, I think it possibly has to do with both teams' ability to score and defend against opposition that is either better or worse than them. So, looking at predictive modeling for this game over the past using different data sets, you look back to using 2024 and 2025, and the Sharks are predicted to score 26 points, but using just this season, they're down to 22. So that tells me that their attacking power against teams this season is worse. So they've had some games that have been successful, but otherwise they're struggling a little bit more in attack, which it goes a little bit hand in hand to what we've been saying about the Sharks over the past kind of 4 to 6 weeks, and in our write-ups as well, that they're a bit stagnant sometimes when they're attacking the line, and it's only against extremely poor defenses that they've been able to really put the foot down. And Souths, they're not fantastic, but I think it was their I was trying to find, there was something about their defense which did stand out. I can't see it now in the stats, but I think it might be something that's recent that's helping them to.
Oh yeah, I think it's the opposite. It's the Rabbits. The Rabbits' defense over the last, I think, 5 weeks has been the worst in the comp. But I was just pulling up like the Cronulla results now. Besides the last 2 weeks, they allowed only 12 against the Dolphins and 18 against the Roosters. But before that, 4 of their last 5 games before that, they'd allowed over 30 points per game. Like each game. So a 30, a 34, a 40, a 42. So I think they're pushing South's ability to score points up, and then even during that same period, the Sharks were really, really poor in attack. So they had a little bit of a lull that must be affecting this scoreline, but I don't think it's going to be this close. The Rabbits are, Rabbits are in trouble, and no Latrell for a while now as well. I think it just sort of gives them any hope of trying to perform, and obviously a guy like Latrell in your locker room gives you confidence, make you work, and that's sort of missing for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was the Rabbitohs at home on the season are ranked 12th in points, but just their last 5 straight, they're the worst team in the comp. So that would be what has given them a bit more of. That's why it's very interesting to have the context of the whole season and know where these models are being made, so that you can say, okay, well, this is something that we probably shouldn't look too hard to follow, because it's not giving enough nuance to what the team actually is right now.
Yeah.
And then what's the line currently? Is it's 13.5 points. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
tough.
a
I
tough
think when
one.
you're watching the South games, you're just cheering for Alex Johnston to break the try scoring record. That's the
Mm.
as long as he gets a try every game, then that's
Yeah,
all they can go for. I think.
yeah, exactly. Any try scorer stuff there. Rabbits conceded the first try in 4 of the last 5. Sharks have scored the first in 4 of the last 5.
Mm.
Nico Hines has been crossing as well.
Yeah.
Could be a good shout there.
Yeah, he scored what? He scored what?
3 of the last
One
4,
try
I think
last
it said.
week. He scored 2 the week before. So he scored 3 tries in the last 2 games as well,
Mm.
and then 3 of the last 4. So, old Nico, mate, coming back to Dally M form. The Sharks win the comp. I told you at the start of the year the Sharks were going to win the comp.
Can dig that out of the
Yes,
archive if it ever eventuates.
absolutely.
We've probably gone through all 17 teams some point in this year and said these teams are going to win the comp, just so we have the soundbite ready in case.
Yeah, except the Titans.
Except the Titans. The Canberra Raiders are
Going to win the
predicted
comp.
to bash bash the Knights. I think you've already said that multiple times on here before.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you mentioned a little bit when we spoke about the Eels earlier. They ran away with the game last weekend quite late,
Mm,
but
mm.
they play in a lot of grind out matches.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we talked about it last week as well. The old 1-12 with the Raiders. It's like, what was it? I don't know. Andy did the write up for that, and it was like 80% over the last like 26 games or something, or their wins have been 1-12.
Yeah.
But it wasn't 1-12 last week, but it could have been. And they were a little bit off. Usually they start well, the Raiders, and then finish poorly, but they struggled to score points. They struggled to get it together, find their attack. Kai Weeks was really quiet. With Ethan Strange was good. But yeah, I think the Raiders are, I don't know. I don't know why I'm still not sold on the Raiders like to win the whole comp. I don't know what it is. Like they're clearly the best team at the moment, or all year. They're the most consistent. They find ways to win. They can win the grind games. They control a lot of the play. They're winning a lot of territory. They're doing all the right things. But there is just something about them that says that it's going to crack when it comes to the finals. Something's got to crack because they're not dominating. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like they're dominating the game, even though they're doing all the right things, if that
Mm.
makes sense. Like when you're just purely on the eye test, it just feels like something is missing, and they're going to be very vulnerable when they come up against a top team in the finals. But that's an eye test from a bogan, so it's probably not the most reliable source.
Well, I mean, they have a points differential of 132, so it's the third best in the league behind Melbourne, the Dolphins. But what I can kind of just bring out of this is that you're correct in that they're ranked first in run meters, they're ranked fourth in possession, their defense is ranked highly in possession and efficiency inside 20, but they're not blowing opponents out of the water. So
Mm,
despite being so good in all of these metrics, they're just grinding out victories, and that I think puts you in a mind frame. It's like, well, I haven't seen them really belt teams, even the shit
yeah,
teams. Well, they
yeah.
obviously belted Parramatta last week, but
Yeah, but that was only in the last, like, that was a 10-minute period or an 8-minute period where they just put on 4 tries when the game was over. And that's like, okay, Para's losing mentality more than the Raiders winning
yeah,
mentality.
yeah.
Right.
But I think that's it. Like you expect more of a team that has been so dominant across multiple metrics to
Mm,
be winning by more points, and they
yeah.
haven't been doing that.
Mm.
I just
What is wrong?
while
Green
we were
machine.
looking at that, I just realised as well that the home underdog. So this is more in relation to the South Sydney game. The home underdog is covering at an alarming rate this season.
Mm.
61%. So it's the biggest metric of anything um, around favourites, underdogs, covering, winning. 61%. So the 13.5 Rabbitohs line, I'm a little bit tempted, to be honest. But as a tip,
Yeah.
definitely the Sharks to win, but Rabbitohs could have a backdoor cover here.
So you're saying if we would have just backed home underdogs all year, we would be classed as professional bettors getting 61% correct,
We'd be
and we
profitable,
would be up.
very profitable in terms of sports betting.
God damn, it's a Back to the Future moment. Need that sportsbook. Is it Marty McFly? His name? There's lots of
Yeah.
Underdogs.
Last game of the round, the
Would have been
Doggies
pretty
and the
impressive.
Sea Eagles.
Mm.
Can the Dogs?
This is the only one we've gone different. I've tipped Manly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
thought process?
I think Manly get a lot of confidence out of going to Melbourne and beating Melbourne. It feels like, I don't know, something's happened with Manly over the last few weeks that it just sort of feels like they've been playing better footy. I think I saw a play about Ruben Garrick, and the Melbourne last try, he ran all over the field from both sides and made the tackle. Even though Xavier Cooks scored the try in the corner, he was the one that almost stopped the try. And it was like a really big effort play. And I feel like when they were going through their lull, they weren't getting these big effort plays from anybody. And it feels like, okay, maybe they are starting to develop this. All right, we are a genuine shot to at least play finals footy, but we need to start winning games. We're going to put that in jeopardy. And I still feel like the Bulldogs are vulnerable. Like, they took a miracle pass right at the death against the Dragons to win. Even though you could say, okay, well, Lockie Galvin's now, he'll probably get named tomorrow as the halfback again. But I don't know. I don't know if confidence is a good thing for Lockie Galvin at the moment. To be fair, I think he needs to have a pretty mediocre year for him to be good, because I think coming into an off season, starting at a new club, I think he needs to have a bit of a reality check by just the first few games. He's a bit too expansive and needs to rein things in. And I think getting some confidence from that, we might see him have a poor game against Manly and try and force some things like he did a couple of weeks before when they lost to Brisbane after leading. So yeah, I'm banking more on that the Bulldogs are going to have a bad game. Manly are going to play with a bit of confidence. It's purely, it's got nothing to do with statistics or anything like that. It's more of just that bogan feeling. Going to
The
get some t-shirts made up. That bogan feeling. I got that bogan feeling.
I'm 100% certain that the Dogs aren't a premiership team this year, just based on, we've spoken about it in the last couple of weeks, but even last week when I tipped the Dragons to win. And it's interesting, I think, as a sports bettor or a sports analyzer, it's nice. Analyst. It's good to know.
My videos when I can't pronounce something. Do it all the time.
I would somehow like to be able to put a bet on or tip that the Dogs they get far but don't win, because all the focus now about this Bulldogs team after last weekend is like, oh, look how good Lockie Galvin is to throw that last pass to win them the game. But they should never have been in that position.
Exactly
They should
right.
never have been under by so much against the Dragons. It shouldn't have taken a bad defensive decision from the Dragons winger to allow them to score with 68 seconds left on the clock, whatever it is. So I think they're in a bad spot, but I just think that their maturity as they go along and their ability to bounce back is a little bit stronger right here in this type of matchup, because I have trouble trusting the Sea Eagles, but the Dragons aren't winning the comp again. I'll tell you that.
Manly have won 10 of the last 11 against Canterbury. Just throw that out there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's also a nice little. I didn't know that until right now. I just looked at it, and yeah, Manly won 3 in a row, but they've played Wests, Souths, and Melbourne, but still something.
Oh, you just broke my. I was looking. I was in our trends spreadsheet here, and I had a stat lined up, and you broke it on me. So I have to pull it back again. What I wanted to look at was away underdogs. Took me. That's why we need to have separate sheets. I keep thinking about it every week to make them, and then I don't do it, and then
So it's your fault.
It's my fault. Definitely my fault. I'm the stats guy. Should be under my umbrella. So this season so far, there's been 90 games where we have an away underdog, and out of those games, there has not been a lot of victories. Out of just the past, I'm going to get to the 90, but there's only been 6 victories out of the last 33 games.
Wow.
Of away underdogs.
Away dog winning.
Yeah.
Straight up money line.
6 of 30, yeah. Which is what
go.
Manly are right here. And it's not amazingly better when you factor in the rest of the season. It's a little bit better, but out of the 90 games, there have been this is fantastic TV. 31. So it's a 30% win rate for away underdogs.
No,
not fantastic for Manly.
30%, I guess.
That's it. Still a 30%. All right, 100%. So there's only one game that separates us this week, so I won't be making a lot of ground on you if that turns into magic.
No,
but it's a pretty straightforward weekend.
I won't be getting much further ahead after this week.
You can also look at it that way.
Yeah, that's the way I choose to look at it.
All right, so keep ahead. Keep an eye out on bets.com.au for the game previews for round 21 and the cheat sheet, which is attached to every single game once they're uploaded as well.
All right. Thanks, Ryan. Good week. Thanks for chiming in a attic somewhere in your creepy attic. Addict. You're an addict in an attic.
An addict in an addict. Exactly.
Yeah. Sounds about right. And we'll finish up on that note, I guess. Don't forget to check us out on the social, SportsPez, Jez and Tuck's Sports Takes. And just remember, hang with us and stay ahead of the game.